My name is Alicia Shapiro with AiNews.com, and welcome to another episode of our Driving Tomorrow Conversations with Industry Leaders, where we explore the latest developments and newest innovations in the world of artificial intelligence. Today, I'm excited to speak with Audrey Chia, the founder of Close with Copy, a consultancy that merges human strategy with AI to create powerful content systems that drive growth for businesses. Close with Copy is transforming how brands engage with their audiences using a blend of conversion copywriting, brand strategy, and AI frameworks to optimize content creation and boost ROI. With the unique background that spans copywriting, AI, and growth strategy, Audrey has positioned herself as a leader in AI powered brand building. Her innovative approach helps businesses increase efficiency, reach, and conversions without sacrificing the human touch in their messaging. In today's interview, we'll explore how Close with Copy's AI solutions are reshaping content and branding, the ways AI is unlocking new opportunities for lean teams, and Audrey's vision for the future of AI in the world of copywriting and brand strategy. Thank you for joining us today, Audrey.
Thank you for having me, Alicia. I'm looking forward to this chat.
Oh, me too. It's great to have you here. So, Audrey, you've built Close with Copy to be a hybrid human and AI consultancy. Could you share what initially inspired you to combine AI with traditional copywriting and content strategy?
So I would say it's a mixture of fear and opportunity. So the
Hmm.
funny thing was when I first launched my consultancy 1 year ago, that was the exact same period that ChatGPT launched, right? And it was such an interesting time because I was finally ready to, quit my day job and start my
Hmm.
own business. But at the same time, there was this new tool that was out there. And my clients actually dropped me a message and he said, "Hey, Audrey, you're going to be replaced." And he actually sent me the link to ChatGPT.
Oh,
So
no.
yeah, so at that time I was horrified and I was like, oh my gosh, this tool is so cool, but oh my gosh, it's too cool. And I know it's gonna get better. So what do I do with it? So it was out of this challenge slash
Mhm.
opportunity that I decided to, hey, since it's here, since I'm starting out, why not be one of the first movers in the space and learn really how
Yeah,
to integrate them both?
I love that. Creativity comes from necessity sometimes, so that's great.
Absolutely. Yeah,
And you're
and I think that's how it evolved. So over
Mhm.
time, over the past 2 years, I have tested different like business models because AI is so new. And
Mhm.
even though I saw the benefits of using AI, for example, for myself, I could streamline my productivity by
Yeah.
70%. I save so much time, right? And I thought that clients would initially see those benefits as well. But one
Mhm.
year ago, clients were a lot more resistant. So they were open to the idea of AI, but they weren't open enough to put their money where their mouth is. So
Yeah.
that was the beginning stages. And we have seen like actually clients mature and evolve over the past 2 years. Right now, many clients are now at the stage of finally opening up to the idea of fully integrating or partially integrating AI into
Yeah.
their business. And that's how it has evolved.
I love that. That's a great story. And your company emphasizes the AI systems that save time while delivering a significant ROI boost. Could you walk us through some of the AI tools or frameworks that you find most valuable in delivering those results?
Definitely. So when I speak with clients, there are two ways to integrate AI. One
Okay.
is you build a workflow that is automated, and then you
Hmm.
have inputs and outputs. This process takes a longer period of time. But
Hmm.
if you have repeatable systems, then this works. Another type of way in which you can equip your team is you teach your team members how to leverage AI. Because sometimes what you need is not a system, but you need a strong core team of marketers, copywriters, content creators who already know how to leverage it so that they themselves are speeding up their workflows, right? Both ways save time, save money, increases productivity, but it depends on the use case and
Yeah.
what is a better fit for that company. So if, for example, there is a company that I worked with previously, they were in the biotech space and they wanted to streamline their content creation process. Now, biotech is super technical. Not everyone understands it, and you need to be super highly skilled in that niche in order to write for it. So it made
Right.
sense to build out a system for it.
Hmm.
Whereas, for example, I'm working with a crowdfunding platform. They have campaign managers, right? So instead of building out a full system, I equipped the campaign managers with the skill sets to write campaigns for our clients, which then means that even though they are not trained writers, they can create super high quality work that then doesn't need another writer in the loop.
I like the two-pronged approach because it's one thing to learn new programs and you're not going to be good at it at first. So people, I would think, would feel like it maybe isn't working because it's like, oh, this could have taken me 20 minutes if I would have just done the task, but now I'm taking an hour to learn the program. But if you take that time, then it sets you up for more efficiency and productivity later. So I like having that and then the training approach. That's a good idea. Smart.
Yeah, I think as you grow, you will realize that the people have different needs, right? And then businesses
Yeah.
evolve. And also, they need to realize where their frame of mind is at that point in time. How much risk do they want to take? And what is the tangible ROI that they see? Because a
Yeah.
lot of businesses are waiting for other companies to ride the wave. So I think it's a matter of time before everyone realizes that it's a need, not a want. But right now, we're still a bit in a space of we are only looking at businesses A who have large corporations who have the internal resources to build their AI muscle and capacity. Or B,
Mhm.
we're looking at, for example, startups who are more interested in using tools that are out
Mhm.
there to get their work done. So any other business in between, right? They are still in the phase of evolving,
Yeah.
trying to think about how to integrate AI. And it's different also in different regions. So maybe in the
Mm.
US or UK, you would see that people are more open to it. Whereas in Asia or in Dubai, you'd see that people are a little bit less open to it, but they are gradually warming up.
That's interesting. And you mentioned that many businesses are stuck in lane one without leveraging AI. What do you think is holding businesses back from integrating AI, and how do you help them overcome those obstacles?
There are actually a couple of reasons that I've observed, right? So the first thing is, I think interestingly, one of it is they don't want to necessarily replace any of their team members. Actually, there's a human
Oh,
element
right.
to it, which is very interesting. I always thought that it's a way to increase productivity, but there is a fear of changing the organizational structure. There's a fear of moving people or things or even displacing someone. And that's something that some business owners consider, especially for those who have built their team from ground up. And then to them, they need to balance how their team members feel. Some of them can feel threatened by AI versus what they want to achieve for their business. So that's on a human sense. How do you balance that? Then on a second level, on a business sense, another problem or observation I've seen is they want to integrate AI, but they're not approaching it in the right way. So they're just saying, hey, there are 100 different tools. Let's use all of them and figure things out. But that is
Yes.
not the most productive way to grow your business or to solve any
Right.
problem. So in the ideal world, you are taking a problem first approach, as you would have done even without AI, with the problem. And if you are able to identify that process you want to solve, then you work backwards. So when a client comes to me and says they want to use AI, I always start off with what is your problem? What is the biggest blocker? Instead of, okay, let's just use AI everywhere, because that doesn't
Right.
make sense. So identifying the business problem, then working backwards is a challenge that I would say a lot of business owners have because they don't see it in this way. They see it as a tool to move forward, but it can only help you move forward when you look backwards. I think that is something they need to figure out. Yeah.
I love that. That's a good sound bite. You can only move forward if you look backwards. I
I
love
don't know
that.
where it came from the copywriter's mind. So
That's great.
and I
Eh,
think the third thing is actually getting management buy-in. So, for example, you have people in the lower levels or mid levels, they're maybe open to using AI in advertising, let's say. And
mm,
juniors are already using it every single day. But in order to turn this into something that is integrated into the business, they need to get their management's buy-in, right? But to do, the management has to think, how does AI fit into our business model? And then what do we pitch to our clients? Because clients could come back and say, you used to bill me 100 hours for your creative director, but you're only taking half the time now. Why should I be paying you that amount? So it challenges the very notion of what maybe an advertising structure or model is. And if it challenges that model, then advertising businesses need to pivot to then have a different model where maybe it's results driven, maybe it's output driven, maybe there are other metrics you want to track instead of just the per hourly basis. And that challenges the whole structure of the industry. So it's very hard
Yeah.
to make those big changes, but it's necessary because even if advertisers don't do that, clients are going to find a way to build an in-house team that uses AI. They have to
Yeah.
make the change either way.
I think that's smart. That's a good way to look at that. You mentioned the human touch, and many people fear that they might lose their jobs. But how do you ensure that your copy retains that human touch so that that fear might be eliminated?
Yeah, I would actually say I would answer these questions in two ways, right? One
Okay.
of which is I think people are going to be afraid of losing their jobs. And even for me, I started out of fear, right? An opportunity, but mainly out of fear. And
Mhm.
then, and then the second thing was also like the human touch, right? So maybe we can talk about the human touch first. For that, right now, AI is in the space where it has evolved over the past 2 years to be at a level where I can confidently say it can write better than a junior to mid-weight copywriter
Mhm.
without much prompting. 1 year ago, the copy was very AI-like. You could tell from the words it uses, like
Yes.
leverage, revolutionize. But you would have seen that ChatGPT is scaling back on all those words. Because I use it every day, I know. It's like my friend.
Yeah.
I know you are changing. I can see you. So I've noticed how it has evolved and it has really upped its game. Similarly
Yes.
to how Claude has upped its game. They are now performing at levels that are beyond what I would have imagined 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So the first thing is people might think that AI is going to continue sounding AI. The truth is, it's not. It's going to become more and more human.
Yeah.
And there are marketers or tools out there that are intentionally prompting for it to even make mistakes so that it sounds human.
Oh,
Yes,
wow.
and that is amazing to hear, but also scary. But I guess it
Yeah.
makes sense. In that sense, AI is going to sound more and more human. Then where does that human touch come in? Because it
Mhm.
used to be that the human would review the work and make sure that everything is great. But I think in 1 year's time, I don't even know if there is a need for that as much anymore. So the
Yeah.
human touch has to then evolve. Instead of just being a copy editor, you don't want to stay in that role. You really want to level up, right? And you want to become a strategist. You want to become someone who is maybe a full stack marketer. You want to be a copywriter who can also use AI tools for design. Now, that allows you to expand your scope of skills. That allows you to add the human touch via storytelling, via your strategy. All these things are less tangible and less easy to achieve with AI. So
Mhm.
anything that AI cannot do, need to really focus on expanding our skill sets in those areas. And that gives you the edge, right? And that keeps you relevant and allows you to then stay ahead. So this brings me to the second point of will people lose their jobs? There's a lot of fear out there. Is there still a place for humans?
Yeah.
I know that there will still be a place for people who have the ability to leverage AI. So
Mhm.
it's not whether you're going to be replaced or not. Like with any other tech revolution or any other wave of change, right? There will be jobs that will be phased out, but
Yeah.
there will also be new jobs being created. And you need to be at least in a position where you're aware of this change and ready to start learning to then prepare yourself for that new wave so that when this wave happens, which is already here, now you are at the forefront of that change and you don't have to be worried of that your job is going to be replaced. So everything can change around you and you cannot control it, but you can probably change yourself, right? And what you want to do with your future. And that gives you confidence, that gives you clarity, and that gives you the opportunity to turn fear into a motivator and to turn this challenge into an opportunity for growth.
That's such great advice. I love how you said you don't want to stay a copywriter, editor. You want to evolve. Just like AI is evolving, you need to evolve and get new skills. I love that advice. And then I've also noticed that ChatGPT has gotten way better at writing for sure. I use it every day in our AI news writing, and I've noticed that as well. Like it doesn't use delve as much or dive into as much or things like that. And I had somebody approach me that asked me if I would promote their tool. and that humanizes AI writing. And I looked at it and I'm like, no, it doesn't need it.
Yeah, and it's so crazy how fast it has evolved in such a short span of time.
Yeah,
It's like a super intern, and you can see it's actually learning and learning. Another example, right? 1 year ago, when I asked it to write LinkedIn posts, it would be very chunky, very
yeah.
blocky. Right now, when I ask it to write LinkedIn posts, you will see that it's actually a lot smarter now. It's
Yes.
writing in a way that is like shorter, punchier. There are nice breaks between each line. There is
Mhm.
a hook, and there's a call to action, and it has evolved.
Yes.
AI has evolved at such a rapid pace, so it's crazy to
Yeah.
see that change.
Yeah, I agree. I noticed it today as well, especially because I was writing an article about there's a church in Switzerland, I think. Yeah, I think it was in Switzerland, and it used AI Jesus in their confessionals. And it was interesting because it was just a short little anecdotal story. Oh, this is cute. But I really got to thinking, what are the more philosophical and ethical implications of this? And ChatGPT and I got into a full philosophical discussion. I
Wow.
and I realized my time I was like, "Oh, I gotta stop." I'm like, "Okay, ChatGPT, this has been great, but I gotta move on." But it was
See,
so
now you're
weird.
having discussions. Yeah.
It was asking questions and, "What are your thoughts about this?" And, "Do you think this could happen?" And it was asking real questions that people would have, and I'm like, "Wow, this is fascinating. I'm gonna see where it takes me." And then it just kept going, and I was like, "Okay, we gotta s."
Yeah, and I think that's where it can be scary but also exciting. So there
Yeah.
are so many use cases, right? I, as a potential therapist, if you cannot afford a therapist, this could
Yes.
be a great way to work through your thoughts. Or
Mhm.
AI as a consultant. So I built my own GPT sales consultant.
Oh,
If I
cool.
didn't know how to like address objections, for example, and then I just have to ask my consultant, and then I ask it to teach me. So I'm not saying give me the answer. I'm saying share your train of thought. I want to understand. And then that's how you keep yourself engaged, right?
Yeah.
While still getting AI to support you because you're learning a new skill set with AI and not just asking AI for the answers. I think that's another unlock that people need to look at.
That's fabulous advice. And Close with Copy focuses on streamlining the lean team's productivity through AI. Could you share an example of how your AI based content systems have transformed a client's workflow or outcomes?
Yeah, this year I launched the LinkedIn Launchpad. So it's basically a productized service where you get a virtual mastery hub that teaches you LinkedIn strategy. Because what I said, strategy is important, right? That's how I
Yes.
myself managed to grow on LinkedIn from 0 to 40K in just less than like 1.5 years. So it's
Yeah.
all content strategy, right? And the second thing is like a done for you profile design revamp that
Oh,
gives you
cool.
like a new brand look and feel, a new image. And then the third thing that is interesting was we built an AI tool just for LinkedIn that's trained on top performing LinkedIn posts and frameworks. So this is something that Jake, my partner, and I have been working on as a project, and we launched this over the past year. So our clients are now really able to create content consistently. What used to be a chore for them
Yeah.
takes them just minutes to do right now. So I have a
Mhm.
client in Singapore whom, after he took up the launchpad, right, he is creating and writing posts every single day. And
Wow.
he can see the effects of that because his network and investor network have reached out and said, hey, I've been noticing your posts. I would love to go for a coffee chat. So the ability to leverage tools to get things done so much faster then translates into opportunity that and unlocks doors. So if you think about it as a workflow system, instead of being stressed about what to write about, I can use AI to think about my ideas. I can use
Mhm.
AI to develop my content strategy. I can use AI to transcribe my thoughts. I can use
Yeah.
AI to come up with my first draft. I can use AI to write my final post. I can use AI to generate images. I can use AI to edit videos. Every
Mhm.
single bit of the puzzle, right, is all about if I'm streamlining every single workflows. And this is not even building a full system. This is me as an individual picking up different tools, learning how to use these tools, getting to the output that I want. And that
Yeah.
already saves you so much time and gives you an immense ROI in terms of opportunity to meet new people, being invited to speak, being able to get more leads for your business, close more
Yeah.
deals, build authority. And that has also been my own personal journey using AI in my workflows and my client workflows.
That's great. When you use AI and it saves you so much time, now it frees you up to do other stuff. And I love that. That's great. And given your experience, how do you envision AI evolving in the realm of copywriting and brand strategy in the next few years? Are there any developments you're particularly excited about?
There will be many things that will change for everyone. So I think the first thing is we will see more AI generated video. Right now, it's at a level where it's okay. It's not great yet, but it's decent. But think about it, like how ChatGPT evolved, right? AI video is probably going to do the same thing. So maybe in 1 year's time, there could be like fully AI generated videos that don't require as much effort as a actual production. Now, if a company does, for example, in-house training, brand videos, all of these videos don't have to be of super high quality. AI itself could already take over that whole department, and you don't have to spend that much money hiring actors for like a company training video. So that in itself is one very strong use case of videos going to be replaced by AI. I do not think that the high level brand creative videos like your Nike ads will ever be replaced.
Oh, yeah.
Because your Nike ads, your Super Bowl ads, these require that human flavor and touch. There will be some parts of AI, but at the same time, it would not be the first thing that's being replaced by AI. So the lower level work, when I see work, it's always high level work, low level work. The lower level or lower value work will be the first to be replaced by AI. And that's the pivot we'll see right now and in the next year. We'll see a lot more AI generated videos. The second thing that I think will be on the rise are like AI consultants. Either people like myself or yourself who decide to train an AI with our knowledge or build an AI tool that reflects our workflows. I think that will be something that more people would be interested in. Of course, they might pay a premium for the human touch for people to speak to the both of us. But if you're looking at developing a lower ticket offer or something that allows you to scale, you might want to build Audrey number 2 or Alicia number 2, and that allows us to scale ourselves. And even on a creator level, you already have creators like Ruben creating his videos using AI avatars, right? So there are people already pivoting into that space and trying to explore new opportunities and potential as AI creators, as AI consultants, and creating another version of yourself. I think that would be an interesting thing to look forward to in the next few years. Maybe the third thing would be a lot of human sounding AI that we cannot tell apart from human and AI. It's already being seen in the world of cold emails. Cold emails is a very competitive outbound space, right? If you take a look at how many tools that are specializing in that, they are competing to be as human as possible. I have seen the output. It's great. You cannot tell that it's an AI. So that the challenge for brands would be, how would they stand out in a sea of sameness moving forward? So every brand will now have the ability to write human like AI. Every brand will now have the ability to write great copy. Now, where do you go from there? How do you stand out? So if you look at it 3 steps ahead, right now we're on a stage where nobody is fully leveraging it. The next wave, everyone will be fully leveraging it. The third phase will be, how do you stand out from a crowd? And then that's in that final stage, that's when brands have to be even more human than ever. When they have that human touch, perhaps more personalized touch point, perhaps in-person experiences, perhaps being able to make someone feel special that goes beyond just a virtual world, that maybe it's an offline experience. These things are going to make people feel and remember your brand in a certain way. And that in itself will be the new era of marketing. So now we are just going through the different stages and we're only at stage 1. So it's very exciting to see what stage 2 and stage 3 will bring for us.
Yeah. I'm really excited about the AI agents. Like you said, being able to have a second Alicia, that would be amazing.
I think it's something that you definitely would want to look into. It will be fun. And maybe the next time we have a podcast, it's not even me and you, it's our AI agents just
Oh my
having the
gosh.
conversations. Oh,
Oh
it'll
my
be mad.
gosh. That's crazy, but I bet it would happen. It probably will.
We'll see about that.
Yeah. And before we wrap up, I'd like to ask a couple of lighter questions so our audience can get to know you a little better. When you do step away from your work, what are some activities or hobbies that you are passionate about?
So I love work. Anyone who knows me knows that I love growth and seeing my clients succeed, which is why I'm so invested in whatever
Yeah.
I do. And I talk with so much like vigor because, oh, I really care about it. But
Yeah.
beyond that, because my mind is always so active, right? What I like to do is to just do nothing. And that means going for a walk and just
Mhm.
looking at the sky, just being present. And I think sometimes we live in a world where we're so caught up, right? Even when you're walking, we're not even present. I caught myself using my phone or like thinking about work, or I'm not actually focusing on the things around me. And that created a sense of I was very tired for a couple of years because I wasn't present. So
Mm.
right now, what I like to do in my free time is to then intentionally switch off and then
Yes.
switch on in the real world, right? And then if you look at the sky, you look at the flowers, you just feel the sun on your skin. And that keeps you or keeps me really grounded and really at peace. And I think I highly recommend it to anyone. So I love this quote, right? I say, when I look at the sky, I look at the sky. And that really describes how I feel in that moment. And it really is something that I practice mindfully nowadays.
I love that. I think I've never thought about it that way, but I do the same thing. Like when I'm not working, I just like to turn off my brain and be outside. And when I do take a walk, I try to notice the color of the flowers or how the sky looks against the trees, just to, like you said, be present and help ground yourself in nature and beauty. And it's
And it makes a
what I
beautiful
find.
difference.
Yeah. What I find is it opens up my brain for more creativity. Then I can think of other stuff and get back home and I can do some more work.
I love that. Take a break, then we can go further from there.
And for those who are interested in getting into AI driven copywriting, what advice would you give on where to start and what skills they should focus on developing?
So if you're a new writer, I would say don't use AI because
Mm,
you're not going to learn how to write copy by asking AI for answers.
yeah.
A new writer can ask AI for 100 headlines, but they may not know which one of the 100 is going to perform. That is the difference. A seasoned writer who has spent hours just perfecting their craft will look at all 100 headlines and tell you, I know which three will work because they have put in the work. So if you are new to it, I would recommend that, of course, you need to learn how to leverage AI, but set aside some time to just read, write, practice, and train, right? So that it allows you to have a sense of critical thinking and you don't rely on a tool. If you do that at the start, you will realize that you cannot function without ChatGPT and you don't want that to happen. You want to learn the skill sets first. So get your foundations right. So when your foundations are right, and this is for any other job, right? When you have a
Hmm.
strong foundation, AI supercharges that. And that allows you to really grow as a writer, as a creator, right? But if you're a more seasoned writer or marketer, now is the best time to fully experiment and try it every single day because AI is an intern. The more you use it, the more you understand its nuances. So
Hmm.
I know how to get it to tell me the answers that I'm looking for
Yeah.
in one step. Compared to somebody who is new to it, they might take 5 steps. So even when I'm with my friend and we are exchanging insights, I'm like, oh, why do you have to prompt it 5 times when I know I'm looking for it? So you can see that people's way of thinking or leveraging AI is very different if
Hmm.
they have the experience versus if they don't. And the
Hmm.
beautiful thing is once you start being really good at different AI tools, then you start thinking, how do I build a workflow? Now, when you build that workflow, that's when you experience the most amount of time and cost savings because now you are able to string different tools together. For
Hmm.
example, I could use Sybil to transcribe my audience insights, and then I could use ChatGPT to summarize my audience insights. Then I could go to Perplexity to do my competitive research.
Hmm.
Then I could go to, for example, Cloud Projects, and I have my insights, competitive research, my current company's landing page, put it into a Cloud Project. Then with Cloud Project, I can ask it to then create different audience personas for me, and then I can create different ad copy and assets. Now, this process wouldn't have been possible if I didn't know how to use AI, or if I only used one tool, right? So I'm not able to fully maximize the whole process. So if you're able to put in some time and working on AI if you're seasoned, and put in some time and work not working on AI if you're new, I think that is the best way for any writer or any marketer to grow.
Yes, that is such fantastic advice. I love the part that you said about develop those critical thinking skills because ChatGPT and LLMs might be able to do that one day, but right now that's a human skill. And if you don't have it, then I don't know, that's very important to develop those critical
Yes.
thinking skills. Yeah, that's
With or
great.
without AI is still a very important skill set. So just do it.
I love that. And I love how you said that the experience will tell you, like you said, which headlines to use. I found that as well because just today, I asked ChatGPT for an SEO title for one of my articles, and I didn't like what it gave me. I was
Yeah.
like, "I think you're missing the point, ChatGPT. We need to have these other words in there."
Oh,
"That's a great point." And I'm like,
that's
"Yep,
a great point. Yeah, I know you always do that. That's a great point. Thanks for that. That's a great point.
no problem, ChatGPT." Yeah, ChatGPT has become like a partner, like a writing partner. What I found, I'll start with something and then it'll present a different idea I haven't even thought about. And I'm like, that's fantastic. Let's do it. And it just gives you so much more creativity. It doesn't hinder it, I think, anyways.
Yeah, I think that maybe the last thing I would say, like for anyone, whether you're a copywriter or not, learning how to leverage AI will expand a whole world of knowledge for yourself. I think and being curious and having the growth mindset is very important at this point in
Yes.
time, more so than ever. Like now is the time to stay curious, to stay hungry, to want to learn, because it's evolving at such a rapid pace that if you don't
Yes.
understand it, you're going to be left behind. So the only way to move forward, right? I always say that you either fight the current or you ride the tide, right? So for me right now, I think it's really about learning how to write it and at the same time sharing my knowledge with others so that they too can see the benefits and potential of it, and then to really run at the same pace that so many of us are already running in the AI space.
That's great. I love that. Thank you so much, Audrey, for joining us today and sharing your insights. It's been a real pleasure talking with you and learning more about your work at Close with Copy. So thanks again for joining us. I'm glad you could come on.
Thank you for having me, Alicia. Appreciate it.
Yeah. And to learn more about Close with Copy, you can visit their website, closewithcopy.co. Keeping you connected to tomorrow. Today, this is Alicia with AiNews.com.